Alright, so I know I posted a video a few days ago, but as of today, since those were pre-recorded, it has been a little over a week, probably almost 2 weeks since I actually recorded the video, so I feel a little rusty, but we're gonna keep at it, we'll keep going. So today I wanted to talk about a webtoon that I've been reading for a few months now, that I'm currently all the way caught up, called Tower of God. It was written by Sue. Sue is the pen name of the author, and Tower of God is what happens when you take shonen anime and just add an extremely dark spin to it. Instead of, I said anime, I meant manga. When you take shonen manga and add a dark spin to it, instead of having it being written by someone who's Japanese, it's written by someone who's Korean. So there's a slight cultural difference in it, as well as the names are very different. But yeah, Tower of God is a story that follows our protagonist, whose name is the 25th Bomb. There's a few translations, it's kind of weird, but everyone just calls him Bomb. It's BAAM, Bomb. And he starts off as this real weak looking, timid, black haired guy or little boy, and he wakes up in a world that is not what he's used to. And you also get glimpses of his old world, which is also not really something that anyone should be used to. It looks extremely weird, but he finds himself in this new world. Apparently he is an irregular, which is someone who has forced their way into this world, and they're typically all overpowered. They're typically all destined to be one of the top strongest people in the entire tower, which I say tower in this manhwa or webtoon is basically the world. And the tower consists of over 100 floors. I can't remember exactly what it is. I don't feel like looking it up right now, but it's called a tower. It's a huge world that consists of over 100 floors, and each floor is continent level in terms of size. And each tower floor is ran by different administrators, and basically these administrators are allowed to give people tests so that they can move on up the tower. And typically the stronger you get, the harder the tests are as you go up the tower. And Bomb is an irregular. And when I say irregular, there are people who are allowed to go up the tower when they take the first test, and there are people who are not allowed to go into the tower. Irregulars are people who force their way into the tower. They are not born within the tower, and they don't climb the tower by normal means. The rules of the tower do not apply to them. And when I say rules, I mean that every floor on the tower is governed by a completely different entity, that being the administrator or the floor ruler. And each administrator has their own rules for the floor, that being how the Shinsu being the energy in this series. So Shinsu is basically ki from Dragon Ball, it's chakra, it's all of that. But in this series, it's called Shinsu. And the administrators, they all have control over the Shinsu on each floor, and who gets to use it, who doesn't. All regulars are allowed to when they take the test. It can get pretty complicated, especially when you don't have the information in your face, like to confirm it. So I'm like ad-libbing it. But you get the idea. You have the administrators, they all have their own rules, and every regular has to follow these rules. But irregulars, like I've said many times, they force their way into the tower. They don't have to follow these rules. They can climb the tower basically however they want. They can control Shinsu however they want, as long as they learn it. They're all typically looked at as these crazy, influential, powerful guys. Like every time an irregular is shown, the fate of the tower is destined to be changed in some way. So if you are an irregular and you make your way into the tower, everybody looks at it like, well, they already basically braced themselves for a complete change in the tower. You're destined to change the world if you are an irregular, basically. And Bomb is someone who is different in that he's an irregular, but he is not one that's like the others. He's irregular amongst the irregulars, if that makes any sense. Like, you look at Bomb and he's immediately like very weak looking, and he doesn't know anything about how to control Shinsu. He doesn't know how the tower works, and he's not very strong at all. Like, a lot of the people who come to realize that he's an irregular, the first thing they typically say is, well, you're not like this guy. you're not like this guy. And they're all referencing the other irregulars that have shown up in history of the tower. But of course, since this is a webtoon and this is the main character we're talking about, eventually he does definitely gain notoriety and he becomes more and more powerful. He becomes more of a driving force in the series, someone who is, as you go along, he is clearly destined for something greater than most regulars. Some people are looking to him to be their next god. Some people are looking at him to be the next ruler of the tower. Some people just want to see where his destiny, where his fate takes them. And that's the thing about irregulars. Their existence completely changes everyone else, how they live, what their fate is. You might not be fated to climb the tower and become a ranker, which, side note, a ranker is someone who has climbed the tower and finished the journey. And on a side note, a high ranker is someone who has climbed the tower and upon receiving their ranker status and what their rank is amongst everyone else, if they are in the top 1% of all rankers in the tower, they get the term of high ranker. So like I was saying, you may not at first be destined to climb the tower and become a ranker, but upon meeting an irregular, that fate is completely changed. Who knows what can happen? And throughout the show, you definitely see Bomb change the fate and the way people look at the world differently throughout the series. And it's a very, very long series. It's a very long series that consists of multiple parts. The series consists of 420 chapters at the moment, and these 420 chapters are split up into 3 parts. We just started the 3rd season March 17th. So a few weeks ago, that's when we started the 3rd part. A few days ago, I actually just got caught up. Yeah, this series blew my mind from the moment I started reading it. Like, even at first, I didn't expect anything. I didn't expect anything out of Bomb, but I don't know, you get this sense that he's gonna, like, something has to happen. Something has to happen to change him. I don't want to go too much into all the other characters and everything. I'll just put pictures of them just to pique your interest so you can go and watch it or read it. But the series starts off with Bomb taking the test to be allowed to climb the tower, and from then on taking the first test along with the other rookie regulars who are just starting their journey to climb the tower as well. And among the tests, you start to see glimpses of Bomb's genius, which is, I say genius, but it's kind of like it's in his DNA, it's his destiny, since he's an irregular, to be someone who shines a lot brighter than all of the regulars. But throughout the beginning of the series, you start to see more and more what makes an irregular, and you start to see that, you know, a lot of the characters are like from big head families that are like considered to be geniuses themselves, and Bomb is immediately outshining all of them. Even when he doesn't know as much about the world, even when he's not as skilled with his Shinsu manipulation, you already can tell, like, yo, he's better than you. Like, he's someone that you should keep an eye out a lot more than the other characters. And that piqued my interest, as I am one who is quite fond of overpowered characters in anime, especially when they're done right. And I feel like Bomb is one who is actually done right, because the best part about Tower of God is, even when a character is overpowered, it's never like, it's always a reason behind it. There's no character in this series who is overpowered just for the sake of being overpowered. There's no character in this series, including Bomb, who, you know, is really strong and everyone admires, that like he's guaranteed to be like at the top. Like Bomb, you see him as he gets these crazy power-ups, and it's like, yo, Bomb just got crazy strong. He's so fucking strong right now. Nobody can touch him. And then you immediately meet someone who can slap Bomb in an instant. It's like, yeah, Bomb, you're on a regular and you're crazy strong for where you're at right now in the tower, but there's always a higher level above you. You're not a ranker yet, and you see that, and you can see you have a lot of potential, but you are not there yet. And I like that, because a lot of anime these days, they just let the main character have all this plot armor and be stupid strong, and they're beating everyone, and it's boring. Tower of God does it a lot different. And the characters who are confirmed to be like top 5, top 4 in the verse, they're not the typical way you look at them. I mean, one of them is that he's the main antagonist, but the rest, they're like either not active, so they're not really in the world right now doing anything, or they are active, but they also aren't really doing anything to crazily change or direct where the series goes. I don't know. Overall, Tower of God just has a different feel to it, and it's a very refreshing feel. And I'm really glad that I started reading it. And I hope that you guys have been interested in it based off of what I've said about it so far as well. Sorry if the video was a little all over the place, but I'm a little rusty, like I said in the beginning. It's been quite a bit since I started recording. But give it a thumbs up if you liked the video. Make sure to tune in to all my other videos I plan on uploading throughout the week. And until next time, guys.